make your day richer than it was before. Got some good times knocking upon your front door.
Hello, welcome to Make Your Day Richer. How are you doing? I hope everyone who is in the vicinity, the eye of this storm is doing okay. It actually just hit our area here in South Carolina last night. We're far enough inland that, I don't think anything crazy is going to happen, but we're definitely getting a ton of rain and wind. The dog is not pleased that she cannot go for a walk. So stay safe, please. Do everything you can to stay safe and don't do anything you don't have to do if you have to go outside. Let's see. Oh, there's a new episode of Everyday Enchantment, which is a podcast that I produce for Stacey Andon. Great podcast. And she had an amazing, fun guest this week. It premiered on Monday. You can get it on YouTube and all your podcast platforms. Take a look at this clip.
And we talked about this before we started recording, like how money and magic are just the identical image. They're identical, energies. So you have to take the leap. You have to trust. And why I think most people suffer and don't have more money. And it's not, remember everyone, it's not about a certain amount. It's not about, but it's, if you don't absolutely have available at all times money for medicine, vacation, housing, I want to buy that book. If that's not 100% always available, or if hours of your day or week are being wasted worrying, oh, what if I run out? What if there's not enough for the kids to go to college? What if, how one gets out of there is they leap or they take actions to get out of there before they have the evidence that 100% this is possible for me. And that is why most people stay stuck, is they're like, oh yeah, I want to believe that. That'd be great. But
there you go. That's Everyday Enchantment with Stacey Andon. Let's see. My Ember mug is still not working. They have stopped responding. I have now resorted to commenting on Instagram posts and Facebook posts, and they are ignoring me. So if anybody else out there is having Ember problems, let's band together and create a Facebook page to get their attention, because I need this mug and I'm not happy about it. So if you know how to get a hold of them, let me know. I have a really cute story about my dad. So if you watched last week, you saw that we did a little unboxing of the produce that my dad sends me from his garden. And my mom was always the hugger and the kisser and the I love you person. And my dad was not, but he shows it in different ways. And so he's coming out here next week. He's flying out here from northern Wisconsin, which is where I grew up, a tiny little town of 600 people. And we're going to film an interview with him while he's out here, because he's got a pretty remarkable life. But he was telling me that he was talking to some of his friends, and up there's a lot of, very, very conservative thinking, a lot of anti-everything people up there. They don't know any, or they think they don't know any, and they just don't like us. And so he was telling them that he was coming here next week, and he does some little odd jobs for them, and so he wouldn't be able to work for them. And they go, oh, where are you going? And he said, oh, well, I am going to South Carolina to help in the Pride Parade. I'm helping to carry the flag for my son, and because we're going to be in the parade. And he said, so I told him that, and they both just wouldn't look at me, and they said nothing. And then we all just sat there. And then one of them finally said, well, at least you'll get to see your son. And he was like, I just needed to tell them that, because you know what? They need to know that there are people out there, and they need to be more progressive, and they need to be more open-minded. And I was like, thank you. And that's his way of of, sticking up for me. And I don't know, it makes me smile that he does little stuff like that. All right, our Rosie moment of the day. Do you remember the biography channel? It was on like A&E, I think, or Turn Into A&E, something like that. They used to do biographies of famous people, and they did one, of course, of Rosie, and then released a book, which I bought for what it says on the back here of $25.26 is how much I got it. But then I loved it so much, apparently I bought two. So I have two of these books. I do not know why. But that's my biography series, my Rosie books. So Rosie, when you're ready to come on this show, let me know. We've got things to talk about. Okay, I think that's it. We're going to take a break because we have a really good show today, and we're going to come back with Tammy Brunson, who has a remarkable story. She was in a major accident, ended up in a wheelchair scooter, not able to walk. They didn't think she was ever going to walk, and within months, she was walking. And so she's going to tell you that story and how she got there right after this break. We'll be right back with Tammy Brunson after this.
In this world of innovation, would you rather have an old, outdated flip phone or a brand new iPhone? A horse and buggy carriage or the newest luxury hybrid? A dial-up router with your AOL account or a super fast Wi-Fi hotspot? With nutrition, what you have been using or taking up until now hasn't been bad. There's just something newer. We all appreciate advancements in science and technology. In the same way we seek the best and newest in our electronics, vehicles, and everyday conveniences, wouldn't you also want the best technology and newest innovation for your nutrition and supplementation? At the time, you may have had the best from what was out there and available. Now, there is something better and newer, more bioavailable, more convenient, better tasting, faster acting. It literally is the equivalent to getting an IV full of high-tech nutrients right into your bloodstream, without the needle, without the appointment, without being attached to anything for a specific length of time. Simply pop these tasty, all-natural lozenges into your mouth and savor as they instantly start to absorb into your bloodstream through your mucous membranes. That's it. And with the added benefit of negative ions, in other words, energy, there isn't anything else out there on the market like it. Now is the time to switch to the next improvement and innovation in health and nutrition. It's time for advancement. It's time for better. It's time for APL Go and our rapid botanical DNA drops.
Hi, everyone. We're back with Tammy Brunson, our guest today. Hi, Tammy.
Hi there, Richard.
How are you?
Very good. Thank you. Fantastic.
Good. I'm so excited to have you on because I feel like you have so much to talk about and to teach me and the people listening. But I really want to start with kind of how your journey really started and your life changed with your injury. Can you tell everybody about that?
I'd love to. Thank you for asking. Back in 2011, I was in a real traumatic injury. Worked for the airlines and was ran over by a tug, pushes back airplanes, and ended up with a really bad crush injury. And it was a very traumatic 180 degree in my life because I went from a very active lifestyle to being in a scooter and being able to only walk about 10 steps. And doctors were giving me not much hope. It was we were moving towards possibly having to amputate the leg or else live with the pain. And the pain was on the Richter scale over childbirth. So it was traumatic. So after many pills, many surgeries, many doctors, specialists trying to find a magic cure out there, I finally got in this surrendered moment and asked a higher power, take me or heal me, please. Choose. And I meant it. I really just wanted my life back. And I had some miraculous things happen, and I can reflect back today and know and understand, and this is part of my message, is that with that heart coherence, that heart desire, that I was emitting, I was able to send the receptors out there from my thoughts and magnetize in experiences that would lead to my healing. And so I was guided towards visualization and energy healing. And so between those two, I was within 3 months, I was healed. I used visualization for my, I would visualize, my son sent me a video of hiking the Dolomites, and I would visualize myself out there hiking the Dolomites. So within 3 months, I was healed. Within 9 months, I was hiking those very
Oh my
Dolomites.
gosh. Were you that like type of person before, like individual visualization and sort of, like calling things in, or was that something you kind of discovered after?
Well, I've always been a very inquisitive person, and I was raised in faith and prayer, and so I think it was a combination of I surrendered in that faith and prayer, and then when it happened, I became my inquisitive side. I know this happened. There's no question, but I want to know how. So I began on my journey to how, and I was such in gratitude energy, walking 4 or 5 times a day, just as much as I could, and just had my earbuds in, and I just started soaking information up like a sponge. And I just started understanding. I started having miraculous YouTubes dropped to me, or miraculous books brought to my attention. And I started understanding. One of the books I read is You Are the Placebo by Joe Dispenza. I started understanding how our thoughts are like a receptor sending out to signal what we're thinking about to create our external environment. And our heart's desire, what we truly desire within, is a magnet that magnetizes in the experience needed to give us that. So I think that I couldn't get enough of that information. I spent a few years actually just in this almost study mode, learning.
Wow. But there had to have been, I'm sure, like you said, like either like fix me or take me, like I can't imagine how dark that got as someone who was so active and always out there. When you started to kind of turn that corner and start being able to walk, like, to me in my head, I'm thinking like, in The Wizard of Oz, when Dorothy goes from black and white to Technicolor. Is that what it felt like for you?
Yes, I actually love that you brought up The Wizard of Oz, because that tells exactly kind of my message, is the motion picture The Wizard of Oz. But yes, so it isn't just a minute, a moment. It's baby steps at first. It's these little miracles that start to come in. But that dark night of the soul is so important, because it's in that surrendered state that we drop into this heart coherence of, I'm going to let go of the steering wheel. You grab it. Please take me where we need to go. And I like to, I believe in an oversoul. I think I'm the boots on the ground. This Tammy you're talking to is the boots on the ground part of the soul. And we have another soul who has a much broader view. And sometimes if we can just center ourselves and get into a place where we unclog that cord of communication between that oversoul, that higher self, God, through prayer, whatever whoever's listening, whatever they resonate with as being a higher power. When we do that, we start to get ideas that come out of nowhere. They'll come in the shower. They'll come when you first wake up. And it starts to, it just, once you get in that energy of like, oh, that's a good idea. Oh, that's a good idea. You get on this trajectory of positive energy and positive thinking, which I love, because that's kind of what your show's about, making your day richer. It starts to make your day richer, and you're in this beautiful, blissful energy.
That's why I was so excited when you reached out, and your story is unbelievable. What about your family? Having this happen to someone that they love, someone that they interact with so much, what was how did their lives change when this happened to you?
Oh, well, I think there's a good side and a bad side. The good side is the family saw the miracle as well. And of course they're elated. Of course it's like, wow, mom's back, or wow, my daughter's back, you know. However, there's another side to it, because when you go through such a miraculous evolution so quickly, you actually become a higher version of yourself. You become a different person. You change within. And I think sometimes it is a little hard for those in your life to understand that you're now coming from a different place. So there, you know, it is a learning curve itself as they get to know another version of you, because it really is a very life changing. You're changing within, and it changes all those relationships on the external. However, once you work through all that, it changes them all for the better. I mean, my relationships improved with every person, because I'm more forgiving, I'm more loving. I've moved my Kundalini energy into my heart space. Once you move into your heart and your soul, you're now projecting from the heart. You're not projecting out of jealousy or resentment or frustration or anger. You become less reactive and more, you want to be impactful.
Is that something that you have to like consciously like live and remind yourself every day, or does that become just like your, you know, like, is it because things happen that are frustrating and annoying or bad things? Like, is that something that you're constantly thinking, like in the back of your head, like to make sure that you're doing it that way? Or is it just like breathing now for you?
Well, the short answer, it is a lot more like breathing for me now, but it is a new muscle that you start to work, and you have to work that muscle, because it is, I like to say it this way. It's switching from the soul being the slave to the mind. You're making the mind the soul to the slave, meaning that now you're acting from a more soulful place, and the mind has to learn to quiet down. The mind has to quit saying, oh, he's mad at you, or oh, he did this to you. You have to start saying, no, I'm not going there so quick, you know. And then once you can do that, you start to realize how much the mind actually creates storylines that they a lot of times aren't even true.
Yeah.
It's a whole other topic, but it really is interesting.
That's so interesting. Yeah, because you have to, because you know, there are things that happen that you have to go, okay, like either one, I can deal with that. It's okay. It's not ruining my day. And, you know, you don't know if it's another person, what their day is like, and just opening that up for compassion for yourself and for other people is something that I think everybody strives for. And it's so fun to see when people do it so successfully like that. And you've now turned it into helping other people, which I love. Can you talk about that?
Sure. That's a journey in itself. I just moved into starting, once I understood that, wow, look at, we are our creator. Our thoughts are creating our reality. Then I just started moving into getting certificates in energy healing, because I understood letting go of the energies that are no longer serving you. I moved into getting certificates into channeling, into gaining a greater connection to that higher version of myself. I started understanding the mind and getting certified in deprogramming the mind. And our neurons, literally, you can deprogram. It's just like a computer. It's like taking out a program. And there are videos out there that show how the neurons just make a new little program upon your new thoughts, your new ways, your new way of being, which causes you to, and your whole external environment will begin to change. So I help clients go through that transformation. And I've been doing that for about 3 to 4 years now. And now I'm starting to just get out there and talk to a broader audience, and putting myself in front of, I kind of have been pushed in life a little bit and said, hey, no more vaccine. Let's get out there and share this.
And what are, like, I want to know what your clients are learning and what they're saying, but also like how your life has changed by now helping other people do the same thing.
It's so, I mean, you know, it's neat to have it done to yourself, but to
Mhm.
watch other people transform is just a different type of fulfilling. And what I love to help them understand is that it's not me doing it. Every person has to go within and they do this transformation themselves. So it really is the caterpillar turning into the butterfly.
Mm.
And I do have amazing clients who just a few have made testimonials on my website. I'm still gaining a few because it's all new. The website's new and everything. I'm just kind of launching in the past few weeks. But I have one who put a video on there, and she talks about how life changing it is for her. And she's a therapist herself. And I have some who were very, they have high end careers, but so they're very smart people, but sometimes they just need someone to help them guide them through this kind of knowledge, because it's knowledge that you aren't really looking for. It has to, it has to be something that's brought to your attention.
Yeah. Yeah. On the business side of it, you said that, like your website's new and you're kind of now emerging into this new chapter of your life as well. How is that going? And what are you hoping that your future looks like in the world of helping other people?
Well, it's going good. I mean, there's no learning curve to that, and
A lot of work to run a business, right?
exercise that spiritual muscle, declogging that cord to my higher self. Now I'm exercising the brain and learning technology, put it that way. But
Yeah.
but as far as what I'm hoping to gain is, I genuinely, I like to say, I would share this knowledge to the wall if it would listen to me. So I don't care if I put out a video and it only helps one person. That is success to me.
Mm.
And I believe in that there are many, many out there who are in that surrendered state on their hands and knees the night before they go to bed, and they are praying for some kind of miracle. And I have now put myself in a state of mind that at night I'm putting myself in the brainwave of, allow me to be a channel, allow me to be someone's answer to prayers, allow me to be those hands, those ears, those voice, whatever I can do. So I'm allowing, because this is a free will planet, I'm allowing those higher energies to use me as that magnet to that heart's desire. And so I felt led to come out, and if I just believe that my video will reach that person if it's meant to reach them. I don't think it's an accident.
No, sorry, go
ahead. No, I was finishing.
Is there a certain type of person that you think is usually drawn to this, or that you're interested in working with? Is it, people who have gone through traumatic injury, business owners? What would you say is the person that's usually on board and excited to join you?
Sure, I get that. It definitely isn't just someone who's had a traumatic injury. I have many clients wanted to lose weight. I have one that she talks about how she had night sweats. I mean, there's many different ailments that people are trying to release.
Yeah.
When we store lower vibrational energies in our body, it causes what we call disease. When you break that up, it's meaning the body is not at ease. It's not at ease because we're over 70% water. Just like a river flows and you put a rock in there, and if it sits there for 4 or 5 years, you pick it up and there'll be moss and gunk under that rock. That's what energy does. Energy blocks our flow of water and energy through our body. Once you get that flowing very at ease, that's that high energetic state that you have. And so really it's not a matter of injury. It can be heartache. I've also experienced a very traumatic divorce before the injury. I have many life experiences before that help and go into my toolkit.
Mm-hmm.
I do talk a lot about the miraculous healing because it is such a miracle the way it all happened. But it's really just life. It's just day-to-day life. We all came here and we're all experiencing trauma, but we experience it to evolve into a higher state of mind, a higher version of ourselves. And trauma is what moves us and pushes us to a different, to what we're trying to experience, what we're trying to pull off in this incarnation here.
I always felt like life is hard. So if you can get some help and some guidance and some community around trying to figure it out, because why not? It's so difficult to do it on your own, and to try to navigate it all, because it's hard. It's a difficult thing to do, to get through. What are some tips that you can give some people today to kind of lighten that?
Thanks for the question. I'd love to do this. So your number one thing you can start doing is start working that muscle. Just like any other muscle, start doing that by 15 minutes. Just sit in silence for 15 minutes a day. And it will be hard at first, because the mind's going to sit there. You got to do this, you got to do that. And I like to tell my clients that as they do that, if they can imagine themselves in an empty room, and then in that empty room, there's a glass box that you can see through. And every time your mind comes up with something, put it in that box during that 15 minutes. That way it still sees you. You still see it. You're assuring it. I know you're there. And just put it there and say, we're doing this. So I like to use like a noise. I put on earbuds with an air conditioning noise is what I use. I don't like to have anything that my mind's trying to figure out the beat or something. I just use something but you can use any tool. There's no certain way. And then another thing that is it's your highest frequency is gratitude. Having gratitude for what you've already created, even when you're feeling you're in a trauma state, even in my state, when I said, take me or heal me, I still had a beautiful home. I had a beautiful property I lived on. I had family. I had loved ones. There's always something you can be in gratitude for, because gratitude, love, and faith are your highest frequencies. And when you can be in gratitude, you will shift. You'll start your day that way. So I always tell clients, start a gratitude journal, 10 minutes a day. Just start your day off by looking around at what you have to be grateful for. Instead of turning on the news with your coffee, sit in gratitude. These things will serve you throughout the day more than you can ever realize. So those are usually my starting points.
I love my gratitude journal. And I usually write down like 5 things every morning that I'm grateful for. And if you don't even have to go and buy a gratitude journal, you can just grab a piece of paper and start writing. And the way it literally shifts how your day goes is, for me, like hard to even articulate. Like you don't notice it. It's just this gradual thing that you're like, oh, I'm not like, things don't trigger me as quickly as they used to if that's how you're starting it, because you're starting it on such a positive note.
Yeah. Do you know, if I could take just a minute and kind of explain that, I love to put science in a way behind something. So just the same as when you're watching TV and you shift the frequency of that TV by changing the channel, and you can just have a whole different experience. This is the way our brain works. And so when you start your day in that higher frequency of gratitude, you attract in everyone that's also in that same frequency. And so that's kind of the science behind it, is as you start your day that way, you just, oh, wow, look at that front row parking spot. Oh, wow, someone opened the door for me. It really is a frequency that you're in. And then the same goes for if you start your day with the news and you're, just feeling a lower vibration, you'll get out there and you will attract in other people who want to talk about all what's negative in the world. And it is all attraction. It's magnetism. Those people that are on the same frequency will just magnetize towards you.
I love that you brought up the science behind it, because I think some people think it's like the, woo-woo crazy out there, and it really is. And it's the simplest thinking, like, okay, if I started out, and because I did this the other day where like something bad happened and I was starting to complain and kind of like, everything's going to be like, this is how the day is starting, is this is how the day is going to go, is what I said. And I had to stop myself, because then you're like almost looking for things to prove yourself right? Like I'm looking for things that are negative to make myself feel better that I was right, that it's going to be a bad day. But if you flip that and you start looking for the good stuff, then you're going to have a good day and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, life is actually pretty good.
Yeah. It really is. And you know, everything that's happening is happening to serve you. So if you can start to be the watcher of what of your thoughts and your actions, you can start to go, oh, I don't like it when I act that way. Or, you know, and they say bad things come in threes. That's why that saying is there, because it just, when you're in a lower state of mind, then you're going to trip, or then you're going to, you know, something else will happen.
Yes. I that's how yesterday started. And then last night, some technology of mine that holds a lot of stuff for work broke. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to bed while it's fixing itself. I'm not gonna sit here and stare at it. I'm gonna trust that it's gonna be great in the morning when I wake up. And I woke up this morning and I actually forgot that it was even happening. And I walked in the office and I was like, I forgot that they were transferring all those files, and it was done and it was ready for me. And that's how my day was. So I feel
I actually just love that, because I don't know if you've ever been trying to remember a combination or remember something and you can't, and then you step away from it. And once you step away from it, all of a sudden you go, oh, and it'll just come to you. It's the same concept of what you just said happened to you last night. When you go to sleep, you're actually in a high frequency. So when you first wake up in the morning, you might just have an idea, or you'll just remember, oh yeah. But whereas you could have gotten all wrapped up last night into the whole, you know, whole negative energy of it, and it would have gone a whole different direction. You might have made all kinds of mistakes, which would cause more problems.
Yep. The original plan was to wait until it was done transferring to go to sleep. And I was like, we could still be here in the morning. I'm not doing that. Like, seems like you're just asking for trouble. Can you tell everybody the best way to connect with you and find you? I'm assuming it's your brand new beautiful website. So tell everybody what that is.
Yeah, and it's still getting under construction, but it's going. So yes, it's Tammy-Brunson.com. And on my social media, I have called it Cracks in the Illusion, because we really are living in an illusionary frequency, thinking that we are not the empowered person that we are, which is, I loved that when you brought up, you know, the Wizard of Oz, because it's like, that's what Dorothy had to find out. Hey, there really is just a man behind the curtain. You know, we actually are a very empowered human being, and it is cracks in our illusion as we wake up to who we are, and the beautiful, smart, intellectual, spiritual, everything being that we have inside of us. So it's fun to just navigate through those cracks.
Oh, I love it. And I love you. And I am so excited that you were here. We'll put Tammy's links in the notes and in the comments of the show. Thank you so much for stopping by and chatting.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Richard.
I appreciate you. We'll be right back after this.
In this world of innovation, would you rather have an old, outdated flip phone or a brand new iPhone? A horse and buggy carriage or the newest luxury hybrid? A dial-up router with your AOL account or a super fast Wi-Fi hotspot? With nutrition, what you have been using or taking up until now hasn't been bad. There's just something newer. We all appreciate advancements in science and technology. In the same way we seek the best and newest in our electronics, vehicles, and everyday conveniences, wouldn't you also want the best technology and newest innovation for your nutrition and supplementation? At the time, you may have had the best from what was out there and available. Now, there is something better and newer, more bioavailable, more convenient, better tasting, faster acting. It literally is the equivalent to getting an IV full of high-tech nutrients right into your bloodstream, without the needle, without the appointment, without being attached to anything for a specific length of time. Simply pop these tasty, all-natural lozenges into your mouth and savor as they instantly start to absorb into your bloodstream through your mucous membranes. That's it. And with the added benefit of negative ions, in other words, energy, there isn't anything else out there on the market like it. Now is the time to switch to the next improvement and innovation in health and nutrition. It's time for advancement. It's time for better. It's time for APL Go and our rapid botanical DNA drops.
All right, everyone, that's our show. Thanks for watching. I appreciate all the support. You'll see all of our sponsors at the end here in the credits. And we couldn't do the show without them. So if you would like to support the show, go to buymeacoffee.com/makeyourdayricher and contribute to the success of this show. You'll get your name in the credits. You get to see your name every day right here in the show. And I get to thank you. Tomorrow we have Megan Alden here, who is a numerologist. We're going to be talking about numerology with your life, with your business. It's going to be a really fun conversation. So stick around for that. I will see you tomorrow. Stay safe and go make your day richer. All right? I love you. Goodbye.